All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the October 12th, 2023 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge? Okay, thank you. I'll do introductions. I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Board this year. To my right is fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis. Vice President, fellow Commissioner Gary Merrill is not here today. Our Administrator Tracy Davies is here, and our Deputy Administrators Eric Hostetler and John Houston are here. Mallie Glusich and Jennifer Walraven are going to run the meeting. So we can begin.
Resolution number 23-857, in the matter of approving electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held October 9th, 2023.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 23-857. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill is absent. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We do have a gentleman here for public comment for an item that is not on our agenda today, Mr. Rick Wieland.
Okay. You want to come to the podium, Mr. Wieland, and introduce yourself? We are recording this.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Rick Wieland. I live at 9500 Britton Woods Drive in Galena, Ohio, 43021. And I recently became aware that the Board of Commissioners purchased a parcel of property at the end of our road at Britton Woods Drive. And I'm concerned as far as what the purpose of that was for, as far as future development, or if it was for a resident on a landlocked parcel in order to obtain some type of building permits and stuff. So I'm really curious on why that was done by the board, why the board purchased that property, what the implications of it are on our development. And so I need to get some information on that stuff from you guys if I can in the future to follow up on this. And this morning, while I'm up here, I'd like to present a petition that we have with our future development concerns, signed by pretty much all 100% of the residents that we have on Britton Woods Drive. And there's Hughes Road residents, Adams Road residents, and Craigan's Court residents that signed this petition also that I'd like to present to your board. And I'll read it quickly, it's very short. We, the undersigned residents of Genoa Township, offer the following petition for consideration. Hughes Hollow, a possible proposed development on approximately 33 acres of property previously owned by Audinos and being two parcels, one of 11 acres with the previous family home and one of 26 acres of undeveloped woodland with the property address of 5407 Red Bank Road. We agree with the previous comments made by Delaware County Regional Planning Commission Executive Director Scott Sanders that the ideal access to this property is to be Red Bank Road. Britton Woods Drive, Craigan's Courts, Adams Road, and Hughes Road residents would like to keep their respective neighborhood roads as they are to advance the existing local health, safety, and welfare of our communities and call for no vehicular access to our existing roads from this proposed or any other future developments. And with that, I didn't know I needed 5 copies of this. I can get you guys some more, but I have 1 copy, and it also has a map of the area and stuff on it that I can leave with you.
Okay.
Let me just
Yeah,
ask you, Rick, are you saying that you want the access just off Red Bank? You don't want anybody coming up like Britton
Woods, yeah. If
Yeah.
you look at our development, we have our access comes up off of Red Bank Road into
Yeah.
our development with a turnaround and it goes back out.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have phase 2 on our development, which would have connected us again to Red Bank Road on the other end. But the developer ran into problems, financial problems, this and that type of business, and that never happened. And he has since sold that property, so phase 2 can never happen at this point, as far as that stuff goes.
Okay, okay.
So right now, yeah, we're concerned, because this property owner that has this land up in there has room to develop it and stuff like that, he has access to Red Bank Road for his development also, instead of tying on to Britton Woods Drive in our development.
Okay.
And
Okay. See what you mean.
those
Okay.
concerns, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
If I give
Thank
this
you.
to your clerk, or?
Yeah, Jennifer, you take it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Okay.
All right,
Continue.
item number 3, resolution number 23-858, in the matter of approving purchase orders and announced certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 1011 and memo transfers in batch number MT APR 1011.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote?
Vote on motion 23-858. Mr. Merrill is absent still, sorry. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 23-859, in the matter of granting the annexation petition of 230.7 acres of land in the Township of Brown and the Township of Delaware to the City of Delaware.
All right, I think at this point, we'll open it up to public comment. I know we have a couple, actually 3 individuals signed up for public comment, 2 for and 1 against. We will start with the, let's see, what do we usually do, Eric, in the, either?
We have a usual.
Okay. All right, we'll start with the 4. We've got two for and 1 speaking against. Tom Homan, City of Delaware.
Good morning, Commissioners. I wanted to just appear before you today, just in connection with this annexation. We have provided a follow-up letter dated October 10th, which I believe should address the concerns raised by the county in connection with Route 521 and the maintenance there too. And I'm here to answer questions, and so is our Deputy City Engineer, Jonathan Owen.
Okay. Mr. Hostetler, I think, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I've reviewed the letter that was submitted. The text of that, the content would appear to address what the court indicates we need to have at a bare minimum. There was some question as to whether the letter was given with sufficient authority. I don't know if the city manager wants to answer any questions about that or address that issue.
Yeah, I think we'll address it after Mr. Reinhardt speaks.
Sure, okay.
Okay. All right, thank you, Tom. Mr. Owen, you had signed up to speak. I don't know if you wanted to go ahead and speak.
Commissioners, good to see you again. Jonathan Owen, Deputy City Engineer of the City of Delaware. I don't have anything to add to what Mr. Homan stated, but just suffice to say that it is our opinion that our letter addresses the issue of ORC 709-023-7 regarding the road maintenance, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Questions?
No.
No, I don't have any other questions.
Okay,
We'll
thanks.
move, okay, thank you, Mr. Owen. Anybody else? Well, I guess they would have had to sign up at this point.
They may sign up until you vote, but I don't believe we
Oh,
have
that's true.
any.
Anybody else
additional-
want to speak in favor? Okay, we'll move on to those who want to speak opposed against the annexation. And Mr. Reinhardt, we've got you down as a speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, Chris Reinhardt, Reinhardt Legal Services. So I submitted a letter, I don't know if you've had a chance to review it, but just address 2 issues. Kind of a technical issue, respectfully disagree with Eric regarding the service issue. I think that's something that has to be cured before you guys can vote to approve the annexation. And then on the road maintenance issue, where I raised some concern is that if I understood what I heard from Eric on Monday, they were looking for some more formal communication from the city. With respect to road maintenance agreements, if those are going to be between the city and the state, I believe those have to be approved by city council under the city's charter. I don't think the city manager has the authority to make representations regarding such agreements outside of that authority, and my understanding is that city council has not done that. They had the opportunity to address it on Monday. They did not do so. And the resolution that has been submitted is specific to the territory to be annexed. It doesn't specifically address the road outside of the territory, which was the point that Mr. Hostetler was bringing up during the last meeting. So the basis of my concern is that there's nothing formal that you've heard from city council. And until you do so, I don't think you can approve it. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Eric, comments on on the letter? I know we talked about there are two issues, basically.
Yeah, so on the service issue, the letter that was submitted kind of makes two statements about that. The first being that it's trying to make the claim that that is a substantive requirement that needs to be met, one of the 7 factors. And on that point, I do disagree. And we can just agree to disagree on that point. But there is case law that says that that is a procedural requirement, not a substantive requirement. So it does fall within the statute about substantial compliance with procedural requirements of the statute. I think that you could reasonably state that those specific officers need to be served, and that would be a way to cure any defect. However, the fact of the matter is, like I mentioned on Monday, the purpose of that notice is to make sure that the townships are aware and that the city is aware of that annexation being filed, because it triggers certain rights and obligations they have under the statute. And since the townships both appeared, filed objections, the city filed their services ordinance, it seems that the purpose of those notices have been met. Is there a technical defect? Arguably, there is, but I think that it would be a moot point because of the purpose of that notice. So the board could certainly direct the agent of the petitioner to provide that service personally on those individuals, but I think that that is a matter of just delaying the action as opposed to having any real substantive impact on the proceedings. So, on the road maintenance issue, like I mentioned after Mr. Holman's comment, I can't answer whether he has authority or not. The text is certainly sufficient, in my opinion, to meet the requirement, but I can't give you an opinion on his authority. I would point out that the law does not require an actual agreement, so we don't need to have evidence of a contract between the city and ODOT, because there is an alternative that the city is obligating itself to otherwise correct the problem. Whether the city manager or the city engineer has sufficient authority to make that assertion to us, you can certainly ask them, and they can answer that, and if it's to your satisfaction, then you can proceed.
Okay. Very good. Tom or Jonathan, I think you expected us to ask that very question.
Yeah, and I can have Jonathan elaborate here. I believe that the letter that we provided on the 10th clarifies the original intent, which was in the resolution of services. To the extent that you need us to go back to city council, we can do that. It's not going to change the outcome. I believe I, as the chief executive, have the authority to make a representation that we will maintain that part of the highway or otherwise correct the problem. And to the extent that that would require an intergovernmental agreement between the city and the state, I'm not sure that's going to be the case, because we have the situation, and Jonathan Owen can clarify this. We have a situation in other parts of the city where we have these overlapping maintenance issues, and they're not done by intergovernmental agreements. So if, Jonathan, you want to just elaborate on that.
So as it relates to portions of the state highway that go in and out of the city limits, the corporate limits, that is fairly routine in all jurisdictions, in all cities, just like this little portion here. And those situations are covered by Ohio Revised Code statutes, and furthermore, State Department of Transportation, very extensive policies and procedures on how to handle that. They have a manual that we affectionately call the REMER, Roadway Infrastructure Maintenance Responsibility Manual, that basically specifies that the cost of roadway maintenance outside of the city limits remains the state, and within the city limits is the city of Delaware in this case. And for projects that overlap and go in and out of the city, the state actually administers paving projects, for example, even within the city limits. And through their process of engineering plans and determining costs, they actually look at the physical area of pavement in and out of the city, and we would pay for the portions in the city. And so Those projects specifically have intergovernmental agreements, but as it relates to who's responsible for what, that is covered by Ohio Revised Code that defines who's responsible for what portions of the highway and those detailed procedures by the Department of Transportation. More routine things like potholes and snow and ice, the same thing. We have procedures in place that are existing and apply to all of these cases throughout the city where we go in and out of the city limits. Any questions on any details I can elaborate on further?
No questions for me.
I had a question, maybe, I don't know if it's for you, Jonathan, or Tom, but as I understand the process at the city of annexation is that the annexation is presented to council and the council consents. That's the first step in the process?
I'll defer to Tom on that one.
Okay. And that has happened with this
The
annexation?
first step is simply the resolution of services. The actual annexation acceptance doesn't occur until there's a prescribed time frame. So all we're doing, all council has done is say we can serve that piece of property. They have not voted yet to accept the annexation. That will happen subsequently.
And that's the process. You acknowledge the annexation petition, we approve it, and then you approve it.
Yes.
County approves it.
Yeah, I mean,
and the state.
ultimately, city council would say, we're not going to accept the annexation. All we're doing is the first step is saying that we can serve it. And obviously, in most cases, when we say we can serve it, they ultimately end up being accepted. But if for some reason down the road, there's a disagreement about the annexation between the developer and the city, or some issue comes up, the city council does not have to accept that. We're simply saying we can serve it. And there are, I think, just to point out, there are utilities right there, water and sewer available. I think there was a question raised the other day about that. So that just clarifies that point.
Right. Okay. Thank you. All right, anybody else who wishes to speak, since we haven't voted yet, anybody else who wishes to speak in opposition to the annexation petition? Okay. Mr. Lewis?
I'm going to ask the clerk to read the motion, please.
Which
Res-
motion?
The motion of granting, yeah, that's a good question. Of granting the
Resolution
annexation.
23-859, in the matter of granting the annexation petition of 230.7 acres of land in the Township of Brown and the Township of Delaware to the City of Delaware.
I will move that.
And I will second that.
And,
Discussion.
sure, the 7 steps that we discussed the other day that under the law we have to follow have been taken, and we did take the extra step of confirming with the city, actually, with the county or the city administrator and council too, that in fact the city administrator does have the authority to move this annexation along. It will be taken to city council. But we have very little, we have no discretion once these 7 steps are taken. I appreciate Mr. Reinhardt's comments and giving a look at this again, but I do believe that we should move ahead.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I think all 7 conditions have been met. You know, there's certainly some debate and understandable, but I do also agree that the 7 conditions have been met. So any further discussion? We'll take a vote, Jennifer?
Vote on motion 23-859. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Item number 5, resolution number 23-860, in the matter of extending the filing dates for the filing of plans, reports, and schedules for various pending drainage improvement projects.
So move.
Second, discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 23-860. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 23-861, in the matter of approving an advance of funds.
So move.
Second, discussion?
Dean Stelzer, Delaware County Sheriff's Office. This is a counting issue. It's our LEAP grant that we use for drug enforcement, and it's a reimbursing grant. And state owes us about $80,000 for our last quarter, and we haven't received that. Our new grants kicked in, and we're incurring expenses. We don't have a cash balance in the fund to cover those, so this would give us the advance. It'll get paid back here in the next month or so.
Okay.
Entertain any questions you may have.
No questions? All right, vote, Jennifer?
Vote on motion 23-861. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
For item number 7, I just want to make clear that we are addressing the separate piece of paper.
Yep.
It's slightly revised. Resolution number 23-862, in the matter of reappointing members to the Berlin Meadows New Community Authority Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Hawes, Director of Communication. We have before you the resolution to reappoint John Houston and Rob Riley to the Berlin Meadows New Community Authority, and we recommend your approval.
Well, I thank them for being willing to be reappointed in their service.
Yeah, a lot of these new community authorities now. Okay, vote please, Jennifer.
Vote on motion 23-862. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 23-863, in the matter of awarding community enhancement grants and approving a supplemental appropriation.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
We have before you the resolution for this year's community enhancement grants. It's for a total of approximately $185,000 to distribute to, I believe it's 14 different community agencies who met the requirements, and we recommend your approval.
Yep. Comments?
Sure, these are so important. We have so many wonderful organizations in the county that do great work, and so this is just kind of a just a little helping hand and to all the good work that they do.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice that we're able to help all these organizations do just really wonderful work in the community, addressing the various needs of our community, and so I'm glad that we're able to support them as they move forward in their missions and just make Delaware County an even better place.
That's right.
So, okay, vote, Jennifer?
Vote on motion 23-863. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jane.
Thank you, Jane, for your work on this.
Yeah, exactly. The whole team did a lot of work
Whole
on that.
team, that's right.
There is a process there.
That brings us to administrator reports.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tracy Davies, County Administrator. I attended the Delaware County Transportation Improvement District meeting yesterday. Scott Brown from Auditor Faber's office was there to present an Auditor of the State Award for our financial practices, thanks to Cy Kille. We are in the top 10%. Out of 6,000 audits, only about 10% of those are eligible for the award, so congratulations to Cy on his excellent bookkeeping. Also, we discussed several projects. The TID will be managing projects in conjunction with the state and with Licking County on the eastern side of the county related to Intel development. The state has provided funding so that we can do some improvements on South County Line Road, particularly at Fancher Road.
Yeah, interesting. It's 3 separate intersections are going to be addressed. And
Correct.
the TID's going to be the conduit for that. So, again, it's good to have the TID and good to have those 3 intersections addressed.
Yeah.
Boy, and there's traffic going through right now.
Yeah,
Huge trucks
yeah.
coming onto county line that I just saw yesterday, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safety is the primary concern in these roadway
And
projects.
it's great they're
Right.
doing it so quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Intel won't open for another couple of years, but yet
Right.
they're working
Right.
to address the key intersections now, which is really good to
This
see.
is a real benefit of the TID,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Other than that, DCFA met last night, and really nothing major to report out.
Okay. Eric or Dawn, anything? Here? Okay.
Nothing.
Mr. Lewis?
Was on a National Justice and Public Safety Steering Committee call, and I asked our EMA director to join too, because we had a presentation by the Homeland Security, and they have a special division that educates public officials, and so he is very interested in following through on some of this education. It's really, it was all explained to us. It was top notch. So hoping that we can get Alex McCarthy, our EMA director, involved in some of these programs. The good news for us is that there is no cost to us. They consider the time spent for executives at the county level. Our donation of our time is something that they feel is very important. So they do pick up the costs of this. But it was really great meeting. I had no idea that this was actually available. But this is one of the advantages of having a seat at the National Committee. We had an emergency management meeting, and they are starting to work, or we are starting to work on the budget. And I just ask that they stay in touch with Dawn and our Human Resources Department, which they're doing. They follow our lead on that.
Right.
And that's it.
Okay. Just a couple other things. We've got a land bank board meeting set up for Monday, 1 o'clock, I think it is, right, Ally? Ally, thank you for doing that. And there are a lot of projects potentially that could be submitted in the replacement phase of round 1. There may be 8 to 10 different projects that could ultimately fit into that phase. The challenge is they have to be completed by the end of June of next year. And there's a whole bunch of paperwork, as you can imagine, that have to be done before they can be approved, for grant reimbursement. And so anyway, we're going to work through those. Diane Gunther from the City of Delaware continues to do outstanding work in administering those grants. But we'll see. There's a number of projects that are being processed and information gathered as we speak to see if they could be submitted for approval with the Department of Development. And then there's round 2, which starts June 1st or July 1st of 2024, which would be similar sort of funding and grant availability for demolition and brownfield remediation. Shooting range, I went to the shooting range. They had an open house on Tuesday, I think it was, and it was really interesting. It's up on 229, just east of 23. Very nice range. Again, just another asset for Delaware County.
It's
very
open to the
active.
public then?
It's open to the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delaware State Park.
It's right next to Delaware State Park, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. Division of Wildlife is the one that actually handles it, manages it. And again, very nice range. Tim Wilson said it's the best range in the state of Delaware, or state of Ohio. So
Oh, wow.
that's good to know. Pinn's Fall Fest is tonight up at Henmick Brewing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
always fun.
Yeah.
The Bixby, I just want to talk, the Bixby campus move-in is going on. The engineer is in, his team, and, they're pleased. They're obviously a little cleanup things to be done, but Chris was happy with,
Oh, that's great.
with
Good,
being out there, and very excited to have all these development-related organizations, agencies, and offices in one building. It'll be good for them, it'll be good for the public, it'll be good for development in our county. So, again, Bixby is moving forward, and it's good to see. It's been a long time coming and a significant investment. Jennifer, I don't think we have anything for executive session, do we?
We do not.
Okay. Well, with that, with nothing else, then we stand adjourned.
Thank you.